We should hold hands.
We should.
You'll say you need me to
Oh, you know what?
What can we do? Oh, wait, not yet. Are we? Wait, is that the start?
Oh yeah, we started.
It's so good.
This is the first video we've ever had.
I love it.
And I chose to wear a hat. I took a big swing today.
Oh, it's so
I'm not a
hard.
big hat guy.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I can pull it off. So I was like,
you look good,
let's
man.
do
You're
it.
good.
It's it. It's it.
But he came with a hat, so now you're the asshole.
Yeah.
What's new?
Fuck, man.
There's a hat
That's
right
new.
behind you if you want to
I
run.
don't wanna
No,
touch it.
no,
I
no
don't wanna
hats.
touch it.
Yeah, can you get your head in it?
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Our guest today hails from the mystical soccer garden of Akron, Ohio, where he played high school soccer for Copley High. Go Indians. He later made his way to Cleveland State College. Go Vikings! And simultaneously played for the Cleveland Internationals, helping them bust up offenses and sending the club to their best season in their entire history. He made his debut for the beloved Columbus Crew on September 29, 2010 in a CONCACAF Champions League away game to Municipal. And his MLS debut was on March 21st, 2012, beating Montreal. With over 200 games played in the MLS, this veteran has seen it all. Known for his passionate and bold defense, almost Viking-like ferocity, some might say. He is feared by forwards across the league. He won the 2020 MLS Cup Championship here in Columbus by being the Wall we've all come to admire. Ladies and gentlemen, the animal of Akron, the godfather of grit, and the wall of our defense, Josh Williams. Josh Williams, welcome.
Man, how much do I owe you for that intro there?
You just need to bring him around with you everywhere.
That's it. I'll just stand in front of you, bro.
That's hype man type stuff.
That's
there.
it.
I love it.
That's it.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
we call you Josh Williams, by the way.
Yeah, that's your nickname.
Part-
You're the Williams.
part of the
Yeah.
back wall. Everybody gets a
dig
nickname
that.
on the crew.
I can dig that.
Aiden became Zach Morris very quickly.
Yeah,
Just
very
did it,
quickly.
yeah.
He became Zach Morse. That haircut, that was like, oh, that's over,
Some of
bro.
them make sense, some of them don't. Like,
that's
like Darlington Nagby is just Downton Abbey because
Yeah,
it's close.
It's just
what?
kind of
Downton Abbey.
yeah. We just
Because
call
it
him down.
kind of sounds like it.
It kind of sounds like it.
Yeah, no reason.
It's in that realm
Yeah, there you
somewhere. Somewhere.
But yeah, man, let's talk about. We can go so far back. You've played in the league a long time, but currently the Crew's defense, even despite some injuries this year, has
Yeah.
been absolutely stellar. You know,
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
fewest goals allowed. It's insane what Philly is doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to like match that,
Yep.
but the Crew's a close second.
Yeah.
How's it feel to be, back home? I guess now I know it's close, but like. Just have things humming, with you, Mensa, like the wall. That's what we call it, the wall.
Yeah,
And
the
then
wall.
adding Degenik. The boots look great.
Oh, the
And
boots, baby. They're fire.
I'm a big
rifles.
green boots fan. And
right.
so how's this season felt, man? Like the body, mind, just the whole experience?
Yeah, I think it's been an odd year. I think, but starting with the defense, I mean, you got a guy like Jonathan Mensah back there who's who starts everything. He's
Yeah.
obviously he's the captain for a reason, but to have. He's just so athletic. He's so honest. He's the type of guy which I love. Him and Milos, the exact same. There's honest guys who you can depend on. They're gonna win 90% of their duels,
Yeah.
whether it's in the air. Jonah most like he's 100% in the air.
Yeah, it's so
It reminds
weird.
me of like the Chad Marshall days where
Yeah.
balls in the air, you don't even worry about backing them up. You just kind of open up. Because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ball's
Just let
going
'em
one
go.
direction.
Yeah.
So just to have guys like that, honest guys who you're going to put in an honest effort every day, and his leadership is second to none. And then Milos, he started a little slow, but
Yeah.
everybody does who comes over.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think it's this
Absolutely.
unexpected
yeah.
thing where you hear about it. It's
gotta be
I
weird.
was actually talking to him about it. I'm like, what did you think of the league? And he's like, everyone, overseas, nobody has that much respect for it. It's obviously
Yeah.
getting more and more
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
the years go on. But as soon as he came over, he said, it's the travel for one.
Yeah.
And it's the day in and day out grind.
Yeah.
The transition-like play. He's like, it was tough. It was a rude awakening. So to have him, I think the last couple of games, I feel like he's been, one of the top center backs in the league.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so just to have them competing every day, I got to go and try to take a job away from one of those guys. So, the only thing to do there is just to raise your game and to keep raising your
Totally.
game. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's something that I've done a good job of in my career. So to have that every day, I'm thankful to have a competition like that. And only, you can either accept it or you can shy away from it. And I'm someone who loves to have that, that type of battle every day. So it's been fun playing with those guys. And then Pedro on one side, Steve on the other.
Right. Right.
Those guys have been solid all year. So, but the only reason I say it's been in an odd year is because we've given up the late goals here.
Yeah.
In
Sure,
the
sure.
last few weeks, which is heartbreaking. But at the same time, we know that that's not truly us. There's a weird, there's like a weird dynamic and feel to it late in games, but sometimes you get some weird bounces, and then
Totally.
all of a sudden it can look like a couple deflection goals look like you're a shit team.
Yep,
But
100%.
we know we're not. So
Yeah.
all we got to do is get in, and we feel like we can make a true run at it.
Yeah, you could dominate for 89 minutes
For sure.
and one thing go wrong, and
Right.
unfortunately, we've seen that happen.
Exactly.
I think what you said about the competition is what's really elevated from as a fan outside.
yeah.
If you have everybody healthy and they're all good, what you hate is if you've got one guy and he goes down, you're like, fuck, what are we gonna do now?
Right.
You've got dudes, and the dudes got to compete with the other dudes. It's
Yeah.
just gonna elevate that, and so I feel like seeing that in the back line. Just recently, we had an episode we were talking about Pedro and the run in 2020 where Pedro played more attacking,
Yeah.
and with Will Sands coming in and really, really holding his own, recovering quickly. We're like, what do we do with Pedro? Do we move him back up because that worked really well? And then there's Derek, and you're like, I don't want to leave anybody out of this lineup, and that's
Yeah,
such a
it's
good
tough.
place to be
That's
versus
good.
like,
It's good to have that problem.
shit, what are we going to do with our midfield?
Yeah, our defense, I feel like, has been built and established in a way that when a player like Pedro goes out, or if you get injured,
Artur was gone
Milos
for a
is
bit.
in, or like our defense is like, well, okay, Mens is out for a little bit. It's like, no, we're not missing a beat. Pedro's out for a little bit. Okay, our defense is going to be solid, and then just having Eloy back there. We're avid Eloy fans, and the stats on him
Yeah.
are they're just undeniable, right?
Yep.
He's the second best goalkeeper in MLS.
Yep.
On paper.
Yeah, and it's just
Number
like
one in
you
our
just
hearts.
yeah, number one in our hearts,
Of course.
obviously, but to just have this. It just makes us proud because I was a defender also. Not I played college, but like a shit college where like I played against like sheep and like kids that were like in the neighborhood or whatever. But it's the thing that I enjoy watching tactically the most. I'm like, what's the defense doing? And so we've been like just hyped on our defense all season. It's been really, really, really fun to watch.
I feel like you're not angry enough to be a defender.
Me?
Yeah.
You would be surprised. It's like the Hulk.
You turn it on once you.
I
That's
turn it
that's
on.
one
I
thing I
turn it
like
on.
about watching you play is
Yeah, for sure.
intensity is a word, but there's like a level of competitive that's like it's not mean, but it's like fuck you, but in a nice way.
Exactly.
Until the game's over, fuck you, dude.
Exactly.
When the game's over, everything's cool, but like I'm gonna beat you now, and then I'm gonna tell you about it. And
Yeah.
I think there's like a level of competitor that can reach that and appreciates that of other people, and
Yeah.
it just keeps. It's kind of like on our own team, but then when you
Yeah.
go, I noticed you in the back being kind of an enforcer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mental will do it too a little bit. He'll just put his head on anything and
Right.
just
Sure.
send the ball.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he gets a ball to go so far with
It
his head
sounds
sometimes.
different when it leaves his head.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It
saying.
does.
There's like
Noise to
something
it,
in
you're
there.
like, what?
Yeah.
What was that? It's an explosion almost.
And we noticed it from the stands. So is that a way you've always played, or
To a certain degree, I'm someone who I don't like dirty play.
Yeah,
'Cause to me that
justice.
takes me away from what I'm actually trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Okay.
getting into it. Occasionally I'll get into it, talk some shit with some guys. But to me, I've never really felt like I've come out on top in those type of interactions. I've
Yeah.
always felt like it's taking me away. I have too much organizing and other shit I need to worry about to be worried about one guy in particular.
Yeah.
But to me, I remember. Do you guys remember a guy, Giancarlo Gonzalez? Mm-hmm. Remember him?
we do?
This guy told a story to me one time because the first scrimmage he ever had with us, we were in Orlando, and he went into a tackle, and the noise this made, I remember watching it, and I looked at the guy next to me, I forget who it was, I was like, what the fuck was that? And he hit this guy so hard, the guy's out of the game, clean tackle, but the guy had to leave right away, and I remember being like, damn, that was insane, and I
Right.
asked him about it, and I said, what made you go into that so hard? And he said, a coach told me one time that there's two outcomes to a tackle. He goes, either my mom's crying or the other person's mom's crying. And I
Okay.
remember he
Wow.
said it with
Wow.
straight-faced,
Yeah.
and the passion in which he said it with, I was like, okay, like that's pretty much how I'm gonna approach every game now from now on.
Yeah.
Because it just meant, I don't know, the way he said it,
Yeah.
it just struck the right chords with me where I was like, man, that was just the intensity he said it with. I was like, I like that. I
Yeah,
like that. So,
I feel that.
You've said in other places, like Sergio Ramos is somebody that like you've looked up to, look for the style of play, like how does he defend, and I think most defenders are like, oh yeah, that guy's fucking amazing. Yeah, I'm like that. In people that you've played with on the same team with, or even against, who are, because like you're now like one of the defenders that like all the young defenders are looking up
Right,
to, right?
right.
You're the defender who's like got the stats, who's like got the prowess, who's on the teams that's winning MLS Cup. So like the younger defenders, they're looking up to you to learn from you and that sort of thing. Who are like some of the players in MLS that you've like played with, or even some of the international play, like when we've had teams come and play. Like who you looked up to and learned from?
Yeah. I've tried to take a few things away from everybody because I try to always be my own guy. The way
sure.
I just look at myself, I feel like I'm my own player.
Yeah.
That I've kind of taken like a Parkhurst building with the ball.
Yeah.
Also his just IQ. Like I think he's one of the smartest players I've ever seen in my entire life because he's not.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have spent much time around him, but he's small. I'm good friends with him,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I say
yeah.
he's like a smaller, frail, almost looking guy, and then he's just always in the way. He's always reading plays, and he never fouls at all. I think that was that's such a key part of his game that not a lot of center backs get credit for.
Yeah.
There's guys who go in and crash, and Sergio
Sure.
Ramos is one of these
Yeah,
guys who go
yeah.
in, who wins a lot of them, but he's also got like 50 red cards.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
You could cost your team a lot
For
too.
sure,
but
yeah.
Like Parker's, I think there was one season where I think he had like 4 fouls or something like that. And
Wow. The whole
playing
season?
in that position, I'm like, what? How is
Yeah.
that even possible? But
Yeah.
um,
Legendary captain.
so
Yeah.
oh man, he's such a good guy. Him, obviously Jonah's just intensity, passion every day. You know, I think something. What I love about Jalil's another guy who I think they bring it every day. And that is
Yeah.
so hard, especially at our age. Like
Yeah.
you hurt. Like a lot of days you wake up and you're just in
pain.
hell, man. You're just like, God, I got to do this again. But to have to bring it every day like that is something that I try to take away, and that honestly like keeps me inspired throughout the day. I'm looking around, I'm seeing Ja, who's the same age as me, sliding in, celebrating, block shots and all that. So that's a level of passion. Giancarlo, who I just
Sure.
mentioned, there's also a passion because there's what I've always found is I was fortunate enough to grow up in a nice household with both my parents. If soccer didn't work out, I'd probably have something else to do.
Baseball. You're
Right,
recruited
right.
for
I had
baseball.
something-
Two different colleges recruiting you for baseball
So I
at
had
a high
something
level.
to kind of fall back on.
Right.
So to me, I always think of the guys who I have to match a level of like these guys had nothing.
Yeah.
If they don't make it, they have nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I always found myself being like, how do I get there mentally? So
Yeah.
I think every day I would wake up and I say, hey, they are putting in everything into this. So how do I match that? So I think it was always a mental battle, and I always kind of picked guys out who kind of had that in their life, who didn't have much growing up, who had, they had to make this team. They had to make
Right.
every tackle to be on the field to support their family and their family's
Yeah.
family. So to me, it wasn't necessarily one player. I was taking,
Okay.
little things. It was almost a mentality.
Sure.
And I feel like that mentality has allowed me to kind of stay around and to have some success. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if that made a lot of
No,
sense.
it
No,
makes-
totally.
makes a ton. Makes
There's
a
a
ton
lot
of
of there's a lot that when I see really successful people, my life would not support this, but if I had made a ton of money, like I don't know, Floyd Mayweather or something like that,
Yeah.
that infinite money, like why would you still get punched in the face?
Right.
It's like I would just be lazy. You can't you
Yeah.
can't replicate
Yeah.
that mentality.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
in business, I've not been fortunate enough to win sports championships at a pro level, but in business, I've been in a position many times where there was no other option, so we had to make it work.
Yep.
And I try to treat everything in my life like that. And I try to work with other people because they're like, oh, well, if we miss this deadline, we'll go to the next one. And, obviously deadlines at work are not like winning a championship, but it's like, no, we set this as there is no other option. And then you have to do what it takes to get that.
Yep.
And so I imagine in sport trying to match that intensity, they're like, I have to have this. There's no other option. You're like, all right, shit, I got to step it up.
Right.
And having people like that on your team's got to be incredible
It's
too.
amazing. And it's also competition. Like when you, the CONCACAF, the Champions Cup last year.
Yeah.
What was that called? Am I saying that right?
Campeones Cup.
Campeones Cup.
The one you guys won.
The one
Yeah,
we won.
yeah, the one that you were victorious at.
Right.
Is that the one? Yeah, that was the one. Legend.
So you just feel a different energy from those guys. It just feels different.
Yeah.
And I love that. But there's like an animalistic type of feel to them
Yeah.
that like they're willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
So you almost get there, and that's why I feel like I kind of mix it up with those guys a little more, because it's almost like they challenge you, not even in a bad way, or they're challenging you just to see like are you ready for that? Like, are you gonna, are you able to match what I'm bringing?
Yeah.
And if you're not, I feel like the game's over. So that's
Yeah,
why immediately
they know they got you.
I know like I went back and watched it obviously like a couple times after, and I was like, man, I had to kind of match that guy's energy, or I had to kind of mix it up with that guy, even though I didn't really want to.
Yeah.
In my head, it was like I have to.
Yeah.
I have to kind of go get face to face to a guy, push a guy, and then he knows.
Yeah.
You can almost feel it right away. Okay. There's a respect there. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
This probably won't be the last time
He's
we do
not
this,
getting
but-
away with it.
Yeah, but I know that you're ready for it. So, to me, those are cool little moments that, they kind of check you. Like, are you up for this or are you not? And with some people, that they're not. You feel it.
Yeah.
And to me, that's kind of I don't know, like I said, that animalistic kind of gladiator type
I like it.
mentality, right?
Yeah.
It shows on the field too. I think we can kind of sense it.
Yeah.
You can tell who. I mean, everybody cares, but you can tell when people are like that next level.
Yeah.
Well, Tim and I are always like, if shit was going down in an alley, we want Josh Williams. Like we've said, we've said
There's
that.
some
Like,
guys on the
I was
team-
like, if we're in the alley, we want Josh Williams. Like,
like
if
it.
shit's going down.
There's some guys on the team we love, but we would not want to get into a street fight with.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
like I love Pedro, but somebody probably gonna knock him down. He's the most foul player.
But he would
Yeah.
he would juke them out of their shoes.
Yeah, he would juke him out of their
That's
shoes.
right.
It's true. It's true.
So you've been playing a long time.
yeah.
I kind of want to know, not by any means am I saying that it's going to be over soon. What do you like outside of soccer? Do you have time for anything? And like, what do you see as whenever you're done? Please stay forever. But like post soccer, have you started to think about that at all, or is it just literally like I need to stay in this as close as possible?
I still, it's this weird thing where I don't like thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because the moment that I feel like I start thinking about it is the moment I lose a little bit of edge.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm
But at
curious
the
if
same
that's-
time, I understand that it's coming.
Sure.
And to me, I feel like I'm aware enough to kind of appreciate what I've done and how and
Yeah.
how blessed I've been to be able to play for this long.
Yeah.
So to me, I go back and forth on where I don't think it'll be that hard to walk away because obviously my body hurts and I'm ready to
for
kind
sure.
of
Yeah.
wake up and enjoy a weekend where I don't have to go and bang into a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But to me, outside I like real estate, getting into finance. I like art to a certain degree.
Nice.
So just little things in which
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot of time to really put forth a lot of time and energy into anything else because I have to, like I said, at this time.
Yeah.
If you're perfecting a craft, a lot of things fall
Right.
to the side until you're done with it.
Right.
I know there's a lot of that in professional sport, like even in coaching and stuff. They're like the family suffers because they have to be there to dedicate to it.
Yeah.
The main reason I asked is because we're watching sport lately, and they refer to a player as old. And I'm at the point now where I'm either that age or older than that player, and they're like basically describing like a quarterback as like they're gonna die soon.
And I passed that. I'm at the assistant coach level at this point.
So it's like they were talking about Higuain from Miami, like he was on his deathbed and he's 35.
Right.
I'm like, God damn it.
But it's interesting how many people, like you see a Benzema, Lewandowski.
Yeah, right?
Like, these
Oh my
guys,
God.
if you take care of yourself, like I feel good.
Yeah.
I know I'm
Yeah.
34, but I wake up and I complain about, being sore and all that. That comes with it, but I honestly feel good. So it's not like I'm super worried about the end
Yeah.
of my career.
Yeah.
I've always told my dad, like, as soon as he sees my level drop off, he's
He'll
seen
tell
me
you?
play the most.
Sure,
like,
sure.
I want you to tell me. But I feel like I'm aware enough to kind of realize, when I have it still, when I'm starting to fade. But
We want you in those green boots out
Yeah.
there as long as your body will allow it.
We've seen no drop at all. In fact, we've been fans of yours a long time. We've been watching you play a long time. Because we're a diehard crew, right? So we've been watching you develop, and each year, we've just seen you grow in skill and in intensity, that sort of thing, and.
There's been some noticeable
you-
strides,
Yeah, there's
like
some
improvements.
it's like wow, this is like we feel like really lucky to have you on our squad.
Yeah.
And you've had some super highs
Yeah.
in your career, but like also like talk to me about that because I call you the Godfather of grit because I know a little bit of your story, but tell us just like a little bit about that end of 2013, 2014 time when you had like sort of back-to-back injuries. It was just
Yeah.
like a tough time. Then you had to like. You had to find something, right?
Yeah.
Because like a lot of, we know tons of players that it's like they hit that like several injuries in a row and they're just sort of like, I guess I should do something else.
Right.
But all of your best years have come post that. So tell us what that period was like, and then how you got through that.
Yeah, that really changed how I looked at things outside of soccer. You know, because
Okay.
I remember hearing, I was just, I was living the dream. All of a sudden, are you talking about the blood clots? And all
Yeah,
that?
that,
Yeah.
all that
So,
stuff. Yeah.
I go in for a routine scan is what I thought, and all of a sudden I find out I have blood clots, so I have to call my parents. My parents come up, and I remember the doctor stepping in, and no one had actually said what was really going on. It was
Right.
always just a bunch of testing. They wanted to make sure my parents were there. And then as soon as I hear the doctor say, we're going to take you through some blood coagulation things, and if your blood doesn't clot normally, then your career is probably over.
Oh no.
And I remember my mom, that's him saying that, and my mom gasping. And that's when everything sunk in. And
Yeah.
I remember everything just being like, whoa, this is not how I thought this was
Yeah.
going to play.
Yeah, yeah.
So that immediately kind of pauses everything. I had a couple months off to kind of think about everything, and to really, I dove deep into kind of, the mental side of things, meditation and all that, and just truly kind of figuring out who I am, what I want.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was, I really feel like the world kind of opened up for me, and things kind of made a little more sense, and I just spent time on a lot of things that I feel truly matter.
Yeah.
And to me, I just matured in a little
Yeah.
bit of a way.
Sure,
I was
sure.
kind of forced to.
Yeah, that'll grow you up real quick.
So, from there it was, I was almost given a second, life, a second lease on things. So
Yeah.
to me, training meant a little more. Everything just meant a little more,
Yeah.
because I knew how quickly it could be taken away, and I always try to pass
Sure.
that on to guys. But to me, it's, it's just how bad do you want it? I feel like I do a lot off the field, and to me, I feel like, you say like we're old.
Yeah.
And in ways we are, but to me, I feel like I'm playing some of my best soccer. I
Yeah,
feel,
for
I
sure.
feel the best I felt in my career out on the field, as far as seeing things the right way, being able to do things that I want to do. So to me, I get why, you see like these guys like LeBron and Lewandowski and all, obviously
Yeah.
I'm not
Still
putting myself
going,
in that,
playing
in
at
those
a
shoes,
high
but at the
level.
same time, like you can still get better
Exactly.
the older you get. And I think
Exactly.
that's important. A lot of people don't understand that, but it takes a lot more work than it used to.
For sure.
But if you want to continue to play, and you want to continue to, your career path to keep going up, obviously there's going to reach an age where there's no longer physically you can't do anything, but mentally you could always grow. And to me, that's just been an important realization. And I mean, I feel like it's working. So
It showed what formed in you has shown on the field since then. I
Yeah.
mean, like your numbers, your tackles, your headers won, all of that stuff, like exponentially, just sort of took it just like a jump. You just
Right.
started like you were playing your best soccer after that, and I think that I don't know if you want to call it grit or whatever it is, but whatever you developed. Has made you into the Walliams that we are like, this is the guy, like he's the wall, like we feel comfortable seeing you back there, and I think these are the best days of your soccer.
yeah, I appreciate that.
One other thing, you sticking around, the Apple deal. I'm not sure how much this season you've cared or read into it, but as fans, we're really excited for Apple bought the exclusive streaming rights for MLS, which is going to turn it more into a product like the NFL became, and we feel like that's going to be really good for the product, and then in turn for the players, right? Bringing in more money, putting out a better, more consistent product. Because watching, again, not to just shit on ESPN Plus and like the local Bally and stuff like that, but the viewing experience from a fan, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we love Jordan, and we love our local people,
Yeah.
and we love some of the other local people. The Red Bulls announcer can't get their own team's name right,
Yeah.
and just some of the stuff they say. I'm going on a tangent, but like you sticking around, I feel like you're coming right into an era where like it can be even better for Major League Soccer. Again, as fans, we don't get to play in it, but we want to be taken serious. We know there's guys with skill. There's tons of people coming from all over the world to play here. Like just our team alone, we've got guys that played on like 5 different national teams at the Crew. And so I'm curious, has there been talk on the inside for players and stuff, or excitement about that, or is that just kind of like you don't really care?
It's almost like you don't necessarily know how bad it is from a viewer experience until you don't travel or until you're hurt.
And then you got to try to watch your own game.
I'm watching the game at home. I'm like, well, I don't get the game. What do you mean?
Yeah, it's blacked out.
Yeah. How do I not get it?
In Columbus.
Yeah.
Sick.
So
live
you
here.
gotta go to a bar or something, which ends up, it's all right. But at the same time, like, just sometimes I just want to watch it
Yeah.
on my couch.
Yeah,
yeah. Yep.
That
100%.
Wednesday night, I don't want to go out to a bar till 11:30.
Yep.
But so there's some of that talk. But at the same time, I feel, like you said, the product on the field is just getting so much better every year.
Yeah, every year.
Every year, it's like we get.
Yeah.
And there are a few big names, but to me, the big names are only gonna settle. They're only gonna sell like this year, the immediate future.
Exactly.
But, some of the things that some of the guys that I know it hasn't worked out necessarily, but some of the guys that Atlanta's bringing in. Some of the young
Yeah.
foreign talent that's coming
Yeah.
into this league that are making a name here and then going
Yeah.
over and doing it, like the Almirones, like some
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like there are some ballers in this league now.
There
Yeah.
are.
I see it on a game in and game out basis, and it's like a lot of people don't talk about these guys, but there are some ballers. So to me, it's only like you said, it's an exciting time, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like we've been doing this for a while. I feel like we're slowly gonna start to like really
You're really
take a lead.
seeing. Yeah.
And I feel like it's a huge deal, man. Bringing
I think it's coming at the right time to kind of polish off the product that's really like the product's been working itself, or the game's been working itself out, and now I feel like it's ready to show more.
Yep.
And I mean, players like Morera, he's been an absolute stud, and we got him from the second French league, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like we got like guys like Bez who are picking out players. Like
Yep.
the MLS is just getting stronger and
It
stronger,
is.
and there's stories of the Cucho transfers which are great, but then I think the finding guys like Morera out of a
Yeah.
French duh, that come over
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
and just plays so consistent and strong and smart, and it's like he wasn't even in his top flight there.
Right.
And that's almost like a steal,
Right.
And so it's like we know what we're looking for as a league, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
So I want to just offer to you what are I think I know what it is, but tell me what is your favorite? You're just like, this is the top memory I've had as a player, playing on the field. What's your favorite memory? I know you have a ton,
Yeah.
right? I know you have a ton. You give us a couple. Just
Yeah,
like
I'll
give
you
us
I'll give
give us a couple.
Obviously, the 2020 championship is going to be an easy one. We'll skip past that one. No, that's easy.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And you were a badass, by the way. Did we
making-
mention that was a shutout? I think
Yeah.
We had a great run that year.
Yeah.
Great run defensively. Obviously, making my pro debut was
Mm-hmm.
something that it just feels surreal. Something that I always talk about all the time is, I'm not kidding when I say this, but every time I play, or I don't play, I'll watch from the stands, and I can't fathom that I get to do that.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
cool.
do that.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
so
it's
cool.
such a weird, but to me, it almost keeps me. I'm just so grateful that I get to do it, and there's just surreal experiences all the time that I have that I just can't believe I'm doing that.
Yeah.
But I think the debut is one. The Campeones Cup was cool because I'd only had a couple games in the stadium at the time. I missed a bunch when we first
Yeah.
got there, so
Yeah.
to have that
Oh, the new
experience
spot.
to win the
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
to win the first trophy in Lower.com was cool. I thought the game, the conference final against New England in 2020, to me that was like the best performance that I thought I had put together for a full 90. And I remember seeing my dad there and just went.
Yeah.
Bawled my eyes out to
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
like
That's
that
awesome.
was it was cool just to have, that was the first time that I had been in a huge game like that and performed very well. So to me, it was like
Yeah.
my own standards. I
Yeah.
don't know what everybody else thinks, but to me, I feel like I played well.
The result
that
was
was-
pretty good too.
Yeah.
We'll take that result.
Yeah, we'll take that.
So to me, that just it was a really cool feeling of accomplishment, and it's something I don't like to really think that way right after a game. We still had another stage, but to me, it was a very I could just kind of let my emotions out, and to have my parents there and to have everybody there and in such a huge
Yeah.
moment, that was a really cool experience. So that obviously the 2020, man, it's something that I still hasn't necessarily
Yeah.
hit me yet. I think that comes after my career, but to me, just
Yeah, it's huge.
what a feeling, man. It's just
Well, and it wasn't, and I've watched the full game a few times. I'm not weird or anything.
Yeah.
Watched a few times. We watched the highlights probably 100 times.
Yeah.
Not to knock the conference final, against New England, but you had a hell of a game that game. Almost had a bicycle kick. No, not gonna forget that. Almost had a bicycle kick, but so many strategic steals, so many balls won, so many step-ins.
Right.
And I felt like that was, defensively, I felt like that was your game on the field. And we were, we were one of the, how many people were
Like
there?
6
Seven or
people,
eight
yeah.
people in that stadium. Tim and I were there, and
We told the story. We had our own section because it was like so separated,
Yeah.
and that we were having conversations with the ref like at this level.
Yeah.
We're like, "You fucking suck, dude." And he was like, "Look at us." We're like, "Yeah, you. That's a bad call."
yeah.
And there was one Seattle fan there that just got obliterated drunk,
Yeah.
and like the other 8 people were just booing him, and he was
Yeah.
just screaming at everybody from so far away. It was really fun.
I love hearing
It was
stuff like
such a weird experience.
It was a
Right?
strange
because I've
experience.
never. It was so empty
Right.
that it just
Yeah.
felt wrong. And then we
Yeah.
won. Oh, and then we ran down.
Yeah, we did.
And Mensa gave him
Yeah,
the hat.
tossed-
He
he
like took
tossed
the
me
hat
his
off. him.
championship
They
hat.
go. They
Yeah.
go way back.
Yeah, he's a buddy of mine.
And
him.
for multiple minutes, we were standing there interacting with Mensa and then like taking photos and stuff and just celebrating. And there was no one around us. And then the guy was next to us, like one of the stadium guys. He just decided that we like couldn't be there anymore and like got really mad and was like gonna kick us out. I was like, we've been here for like 5 minutes, dude. And Mensa was like, it's cool. And he was like, no, you guys got to go. And then we were like, all right, man. So we went 2 rows back and stood there.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
That whole season had to have been the most mentally taxing, right? On all of you players, coaching staff, right? I mean, just I got another COVID test. Oh, I got another COVID test.
Oh, yeah,
and
just
then
that inside of it.
that in itself, and then like losing 2 of your regular starters
Right.
game day.
Then we just talked to Aiden the other day.
Yeah.
He said he got the text. He was hanging out the night before.
Yeah.
And he said Nagby texted him and said, hey, I got COVID. And he was like, wait. And like it all
What
hit
does
him.
that
right-
mean? Yeah.
So he didn't even have time to freak out about
Right.
starting. He was just like, oh no, I got to go.
So how do you because you've again, you have been throughout your career able to find that grit or whatever it is and just go, nope, here we go. And so, what was it like just because we haven't even asked Aiden this, but what was it like for you as one of the veteran players coming in to start this, MLS Cup final against a team that odds makers had above us?
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't giving us a chance.
Yeah, they weren't giving us a chance. So what did you do mentally to prepare for that? And then what did you share with your teammates? Like, what was that like?
There was a synergy in the team that whole playoff run that it just felt right. As that's the best way and the most simplest way I could put it is there's a feeling you get where guys are locked in. Where I actually told my grandpa the day before we had Darlington out, Pedro goes out, everybody's kind of looking around like,
Yeah. Uh-oh.
fuck.
Literally.
What the fuck is going on?
Here, this is
I
the
hate you
bullshit
so
that
much,
happens,
disease. Yeah.
So, and then I remember Aiden coming in and stepping into that practice and just pinging the ball around.
Yeah.
And I just looked at him and I could tell shout out to him, man. He's such a gangster, dude. I love that dude, man. But to be able to do that at 20 years old is so fucking hard, man.
Yeah.
It's so hard. And I have so much respect for him because I don't think I could have done it at 20. Maybe I could have, but I don't think I was anywhere close to being ready to mentally do that, physically do that. And I remember seeing him in the locker room before the championship, and I just stopped him before there's a little tunnel before we go out. And I just told him, I'm like, look, man, we're all gas, no brakes here, man. Like, I got your back. Like, just fly around. And this
I
guy
love
went
it.
out like
He did.
30
Dude,
seconds in.
he listened
crushes
to
Shane
you.
O'Neal, like,
He did
as
exactly
soon as
what
he
you
tackled
told
that,
him to
I'm
do.
like, all right, I don't need to worry about him. Like, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, Nicholas Ladero was like, "What the hell
Yeah.
is this
Just
thing
the
on me?"
annoying
Right?
gnat flying around, sticking him, like just he balled out that game, man. So
really
and then to
did.
see him playing now, I'm like, I mean, we need to hold on to him as long as we can.
That's what we've been saying,
I think his
too.
career trajectory is just starting, man. So
Yeah.
and the way that he works, he wants to work mentally off the field as well. I mean, whatever it takes to get to the level he wants to get to, I feel like I'd put my money on him.
Yeah.
He's that type of guy and that type of willing learner, and he's just a baller, man. He's a baller. So
We love it.
to have, I mean, I got a little sidetracked there, but to
No.
answer your question, it was just everybody was locked in. We understood the assignment, like next man up, and then the next man was ready.
Yeah.
Sometimes you say that's easy to say. Sometimes
Sure.
you say that and you can look around and that guy's not ready for the moment.
Yeah. Sure.
But we knew right away. I told my grandpa right after, like, yeah, we're still gonna win. You know, I truly thought we were going to win
Yeah.
the game. And,
We could feel that
wasn't
too
wrong.
going into it.
I mean, it was pretty evident 10 minutes into the game. I was like, Seattle's going to struggle with this team right here.
I told him going to the
Seattle's going to
game.
be struggling against this crew
Yeah.
team right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once it started, we knew. But even going to the game, I was like, for some reason, I'm not nervous. I was like, I'm worried that I'm not. It just feels like we got this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know why it doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
You know, I was just like, I feel fine. And then we just from the jump.
Yep.
I mean, we got three games left this season. You're feeling good. Obviously, you got to go. We got one more at home. What's the? I guess I don't really have a question. I guess just like a little bit of time off. I mean, you guys are locked in. We can tell. There's like some chatter. There's always Twitter and stuff like that. But you guys seem to be like you understand the result is not what you wanted, and you know how to get it. And you're like, let's go get it done. Is that kind of how it is in the locker room right now?
I mean, that's the only way. That's the only way it can be.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel like we've got enough guys who have won not only here but in other leagues, experience. You know, we truly feel just get in,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then from there, I'll put our lineup against a lot of teams in this league.
For sure.
So,
Yeah.
So for there, it's just a matter of putting all the bullshit that's happened in the past. You know, you have an up and down season. You have things
Yeah.
that go right in the season. You have things that go
Sure.
wrong. Sometimes the psychology can get a little fucked up. Every
Yeah,
once in a while.
for
But
sure.
For me, it's the Jonas, myself, Milos,
Yeah.
Darlington. Starting then you go up top Cucho and even though he's young, he's only 23, but we still rely on him.
Yeah.
And so
Sure.
Chino's going to come back, and it's all about just being mentally strapped in.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All we got to do is get in. So
Yeah.
take each game at a time. We believe in each other, and I think that's the key right there.
Yeah, man.
Is it real? Because you can't fake that stuff, right?
No,
like those
Yeah.
are,
you can't.
those are things that, and like I said about the championship, there's moments where when guys are real and when shit's fake.
Yep.
And I feel like I'd put my money on a lot of guys in this locker room. So, to me, it's about just sacking up.
Yeah,
It's a little,
for sure.
That's a little harsh to say, but
No,
at the
for
same
sure.
time, that's what it's about. You got to sack up. Everybody's got to be ready, whether you're starting or coming off the bench. And I think that's a huge part of our team. I think we start games well, but we don't always finish them well. And I think it includes every guy rostered. I think that's
Yeah.
the most important thing that
I agree.
that I try to pass on to everybody. Like, I don't necessarily start every game, but mentally I go into a game feeling as if I'm starting.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the only way to approach things like that. And so that way, when you are asked to come on the field in the 75th, 85th,
Yeah.
90th minute,
Get in there and do it.
Those minutes are important, man, because
Obviously.
one
Yeah.
one misclearance, one bad decision, you don't step to a ball, you lose track of a guy, you could be in for 30 seconds and have a part in when
Yeah,
things go
dropping
wrong.
2
So,
points, even 3.
yeah, so to me, it's everybody's just got to be locked in, and I feel like we had a good team meeting today. I feel like we cleared some shit out, and I feel like now it's go time.
Nice.
Nice.
Love that.
Good.
Well,
Love that.
You got a weekend off. We'll let you get out of here and you're going back home, hang out.
Yep.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
This was
Appreciate
fun,
it
man.
so
I
much,
appreciate
man.
And thanks for being the guinea pig. This is our first. We're trying out, figure out videos. So
Yeah.
I love
like
it.
I said, maybe more hats. I'm not sure yet.
Hey, I'm
I
honored.
just feel like hats don't. It's like not a thing. Like we don't have to make it a thing. We got Josh Williams. Why do we got hats?
He's
We
got a
Josh
hat.
Will- Yeah, he's got a hat. Anyway, everybody, thanks for listening to the Under Construction podcast, where we're always working on things. Today, you listen to a legend, Josh Williams.
Josh Williams.
Josh Williams. Until next time.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Yeah, man. Thanks.